I've gotten to the point where my own thoughts are more engaging and productive to listen to than almost any like almost anything that I can find. Um, if I'm reading a book or something, or if I'm watching something um, on YouTube or a movie or trying to play a video game or I mean, heck, I've known for a long time that that I have a lot more fun just thinking to myself than talking to most people. Most people aren't um engaging enough company um or very interesting. And I'm not necessarily saying that I am interesting or engaging. Um, I'm pretty sure for other people I can be an extremely boring person to be around. Um, so I'm not saying that this is me being better than other people somehow. It's just the things that I care about and the things that other people care about are not the same. And my interests are so narrow. Um, and I just don't care about a whole lot of things. The, you know the ESFJ girl that I was talking about. Um, Around the time I started to find her to be more interesting is when she said that she was a curious person and she asks a lot of questions because I straight up told her I am not a curious person. Like I don't care. I do not ask questions. And there's been other people that a lot of people that I work with, and I mean most people will just ask questions about things that really don't have anything to do with them. Um, just asking how something works or whatever, or what's this or what's that, or who is that or whatever. And for me, it's just if something doesn't have to do with me, I prefer to keep it out of my mind because I don't need excess information, um, and I just don't really care. Um, it's kind of like cars. I think of cars a lot in how I seem to be lacking in knowledge that other people have because other people can say the name of a car and I really won't know what they're talking about because I don't pay attention to the names of cars. I don't attach names to models. Um, I know that a Ford, actually, I guess a Ford is the manufacturer, right? Not not necessarily the truck itself. But I don't know a lot about vehicles. Um, and sometimes people will say the name of a vehicle, and I'll just have to pretend like I know what they're talking about when I really just don't know what they're talking about. Um, it kind of blows my mind that police will be on radio chatter and they'll say something like suspect in a Chrysler blah blah blah, and it's like I don't even know what that is. How do you know what every car looks like? How do you know all those names? How do you know that? Also, how do people know? I don't even understand how anybody knows or cares about the brand names of clothes. Um, I just don't understand, like, how do you even know that? How does it even enter your brain? Because when I go to buy a shirt, I look at what color it is and what the shirt looks like and whether or not it's going to be comfortable, and then I buy the shirt. I don't look at who the maker of the shirt is because I care about whether or not it feels comfortable on my chest and whether or not it'll look good. And that's it. I don't care who made the shirt. I don't care what the tag says. I don't understand why that's important to people. Is it like how I know who which game developers developed which games? I mean, I don't even fully know that sometimes. Um, but I know I I could look at a video game and know, oh, Valve made this or oh, Bungie made this. But most people wouldn't know that just because they don't play video games like that. So maybe it's just that I have such an extreme lack of social experience and outside world experience that I don't know basic things like that. Because actually, I mean, another thing is, I don't know how people know like street names and numbers. I don't know. I don't know anything besides my address. I don't know what the highway near my house is called, or I don't know what number it is or anything. Um, because I don't, there's no reason for me to know it. I've never had to tell anybody what number it is, and nobody's ever mentioned it to me. And I've never bothered to look at a sign that doesn't have something to do with how I'm driving. Um, and it just frankly doesn't matter to me. If the road was called, Butt Face Road, I wouldn't really care. I mean, it might be a little amusing. It just doesn't, it's a road. Why does it have a name? It's a road. I mean, I know that it has a name or a number for a purpose, for, directions and deliveries and stuff like that. Um, it's a road, so it doesn't really deserve a name. It's it's asphalt, you know, concrete, whatever. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Um, what a weird rant. What a weird ramble I've gone on. When I listen to music, I just listen to whatever pops up on YouTube, whatever is recommended to me. I don't even know how to find other music that I would like. Somebody that I've been talking to has recommended me some music, and it's very popular music that I had basically never heard of before because it hadn't come up on my YouTube page. Um, and I guess I don't have Spotify or something, and I'm not really passionate about music in the first place, so I don't, I don't revere artists or anything. Um, I don't like follow them on Instagram or something because I don't have Instagram. Eminem, the person, not the food, has a few songs that I like, but it's only a few. So why would I be an Eminem fan? You know, Lorde has two albums that I like. Does Lorde even have more music than two albums? I'm not sure. Um, But I'm not sure if that makes me a Lord fan or an Eminem fan if I like some of their music. Um, if somebody tried to have a conversation with me about one of those artists, I really wouldn't have much to contribute because I don't know very much about them. Aside from the to what extent the emotions are real in their music, I know about their emotions in music a bit. I like Lord's feelings, I guess. Somebody tried to, a long while ago, um, some dude at my job who I had never seen before and I haven't seen since, um, was talking with some other guy, and when I got near them, one of them just randomly asked me like, "Do you know who King Von is?" And I said no, and he was telling me like, "Oh, this dude he killed a bunch of people, and I guess he was a musician or something." And I think he asked me what kind of music I listen to, and I said, I don't really listen to music, and it's true enough, I know I just said like Lord and Eminem, but it's only a few songs. There's only so much music I listen to. When somebody asks what genre of music I listen to, I have no idea what to tell them because I don't listen to a genre. I just listen to music that I like. You know, I guess I listen to, technically, sure, I listen to some hip hop, but I don't, it's not like I like hip hop more than anything else. I listen to music that sounds sad. I listen to music that sounds happy. I listen to music that sounds scary. I listen to video game music. I listen to meme music. I listen to, you know, there's that song like "What a Wonderful World." There's "Riding Dirty," whatever that is. I don't even know what that is. What is that? I don't know what genre that is. Who cares what genre of music is? Why does music have genres? Because if I was somebody who made music, I would just make whatever I wanted. I don't know. Anyway, so I said, I don't really listen to music, and that's true enough. And he just mocks me and he goes, I don't really listen to music. Like it just straight up just went bam, like, I don't really listen to music. Like, okay. Like why do you have to be such a jerk? I mean, I kind of get it, but I was being honest. It was just the answer. It's like, I'm sure that King Von is not as cool as you think he is. You worship a black guy who is a murderer and makes music or raps or something, and you're white. Um, you're worshiping this man. You're sucking. Okay. Metaphorically, you're doing things to this man that are undignified. Um, and then you're making fun of me for not listening to music. I feel bad for talking about that guy that way. I don't know. People can be so rude. Why are we like this? Um, it makes me sad. Um, it makes me sad because how am I supposed to have connections and friends with people in real life when they'll be rude or they'll gossip or just be unkind in some way, um, or be a person without integrity or values or morals. Um, and besides all of that, I can't really be friends with people that don't have the same interests or that I do, or even Most people don't have the aren't in the same walk of life as I am in. I'm not really in the same lane as other people. So, what exactly am I supposed to do about that? Um, Sometimes I think about trying to pretend to be more normal just so I can enjoy life more, maybe, because in theory I would get along with people more. But realistically, I know I could never, keep things up. Um, just, I would never be able to do the things that other people do that they consider fun. I would never be able to sit around and talk about the things that other people talk about. I can't believe people find things interesting that they find interesting, and then they don't find other things interesting that I find interesting. I wanted to record something because I'm just sitting here and I'm not even tired enough to sleep or anything. And I don't really want to be on the computer. I don't want to look at a screen because I've been having eye problems. I've been getting eye strain. Um, and so basically, I'm just locked in here because outside is too hot and there's nobody to get along with anyway out there. And there's nobody really to. I mean, I have a few friends I'm gonna probably play a video game with later, but until then, I don't really have anybody to interact with on the internet. And the internet is getting increasingly more boring as I live longer and exhaust my interests. Um, and I want to kind of practice writing as a skill, like fiction writing, but I don't want to be on the computer to do it because I don't want my eye strain. Um, but I don't like doing it on paper because um, it's harder to edit and to, I guess, embark on writing something specific when I'm writing with paper in a notebook because it's harder to organize all the documents and everything when you're just writing on physical paper. Um, and it takes longer to write the words and everything. And drawing, I would like to draw, but again, I don't want to be looking at the computer when I'm drawing. But it's more expensive to draw physically, and it's harder to share with others if you're drawing physically, so I don't really do that either. Um, Trying to figure out what to do with my life, basically, besides sit around, but I don't really see what options I have. Um, I just feel like I'm at a dead end until the road gets constructed for me. I don't really see any career, any life path, anywhere I could move, anyone I could be with. Um, at this time, I don't see any changes I could really make that would actually make me happier. And if somebody's going to try to give me some suggestions, just remember you don't know who I am or what I need or what my heart wants. So if you say like, "Oh, go do this or learn this," the thing is that's probably not, whatever you're going to suggest probably isn't going to make me content or happy. And I've probably thought about it already. Not that I'm saying that you can't do that. I'm not saying you don't have the right to suggest something for me. But just keep in mind that I've probably already thought about it, um, and I've probably already heard it before. People say things like learn an instrument. Okay, I don't like music. I've tried to play an instrument before. I've tried to mess around with music before, and I don't really like making it very much. I'm not passionate about it. People will say, learn a language. Okay, I don't talk to enough people to enjoy language learning. And I have tried many times to learn Spanish, but I simply don't talk to people. And so I don't have any desire to really learn the language. And now we're getting into an age where everything is being translatable on the internet. So, learning a language is what writing cursive was 10 years ago. You're not going to need to be able to know other languages to communicate with people in 10 years. Um, and honestly, I hadn't thought about that really until just now, but it's perfectly true. Um, what else? You know, I already talked about reading. I've bought books. I don't like the books. I think reading is boring. I start reading and if it's nonfiction, I start disrespecting the author because of things that they're writing and logical conclusions that they come to that I find wrong, and I devalue their work and then I put it down. Um, if it's fiction, I just find it boring and irrelevant since it's not real life. Um, you know what I've been doing most with my free time? I've been listening to Black Pillar rants from Oreo Man, otherwise known as Savvy Guy, and like that guy Kent TV, and He Didn't Succeed. Those are who I've been listening to. I find that stuff a lot more interesting. Those people are more interesting people than 99% of people you will ever meet. And I have genuine a genuine sort of respect for those people that I just mentioned. Um, and I'm glad that they talk about the things they talk about and put it out there. I would rather, I wish more people would talk about their lives and their experiences and what they believe. Um, I love listening to people talk like that. I genuinely go hours and hours listening to people talk about life and their problems and what they believe in. Um, I don't know necessarily why I like listening to that stuff so much. Sometimes it does get repetitive or it does get boring, but it's more interesting to me than listening to, say, someone talk about the history of World War One or World War Two or the science of biology or something. Maybe not biology, but just, the sciences are not very interesting to me. The histories are not very interesting to me. I don't really believe things that I hear. And if I don't believe something that I hear, I'm not going to find it interesting. Um, when people say that something in the human body works a certain way, or when they say that something in history happened a certain way, I just don't necessarily believe it because I know I know how the opinions of science and historians have changed over time, especially with something like history. There's like a major historical event that supposedly happened that like 90% of people believe actually happened, but I 100% do not believe happened. And I'm not naming this historical event, but you probably know what I'm talking about. Um, it did not happen. There's not enough evidence to say that it actually happened. And the problem is that it's in recent enough history and memory that we should have evidence that it did happen. but there's not enough evidence. And so the way I see it is if I can't believe in that event, and if things in the present day are, if there's lies in the present day that I can clearly see being constructed, then why should I believe what anybody tells me happened 200 years ago or 300 years ago? I really don't see any reason why I should believe that. And if somebody just digs up or presents something like a rusty shovel and tells me that it's evidence of some civilization that was here before I was born, I'm supposed to just believe that and go along with whatever story they tell me about it. Um, I don't think so. I just don't think so. I don't believe in a lot of history. I think that a lot of things are made up. I don't believe in dinosaurs. I'll just say it. I know we're all thinking it. I'll just say it. I don't believe in them dinosaurs. Okay. Um, I don't really tell people that very much. I don't believe in them because, um, I mean, if you look into it a little bit, basically you'll figure out that the things that they display in museums aren't real. Um, and it's basically you'll have something that's presented as a real bone, like or as a real fossil or something, and then it will later be found out that it isn't real. And it's just over and over. It's really hard to figure out. I mean, it's not hard. It's impossible to figure out. Okay, is this actually real? Because the thing is, it's all actually fake, and it's all there's only like so many supposedly real um, dinosaur bones in existence, and you're not really allowed to see them. When you go into a museum and you see something on display, you're seeing a recreation every single time. Um, and they basically just say that, oh, they don't want to put the real ones out on display because they don't want them to be ruined or anything. And there's problems photographing them because then it will destroy them or degrade them or something. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I mean, I believe like a lot of conspiracy stuff like that. Um, I just don't really tell people about it because people aren't um, wise enough to discern what is or isn't true, or to be even moderately skeptical of things that they should be skeptical about. And they'll basically just act like you're an idiot when they really don't research or know anything. Um, I mean, like with that historical event denial that I was talking about, I had friends, people that were supposed to be my friend. I had brothers and my sister. People act like you're an idiot when they really don't know anything. Like, you will tell them something and they won't know what you're talking about because they haven't done any research or looked into it at all. And they will act like you're the idiot because they're the one who just believes what they're told. But you're the one who actually looked into it and actually learned. Um, but supposedly you're the idiot for forming an opinion. You know what I mean? Um, I guess my rant is over now. I think it's probably been what 25 minutes or something. I don't know. I need to drink some water. I'm thirsty.